So guys, welcome to another SAK Saturday. And this time, I'm at Manchester International Airport, Terminal 2, heading to the United States. And I have a little Swiss Army knife. You may ask the question, is this going to get through security? Well, it's called the Jetsetter. That might give you a clue. So let's find out if it does get through security, and then I'll give you a review once we're in. So guys, obviously I got through security, but did the Jetsetter? Well, yes it did. So this little tiny Victorinox Jetsetter passed the security at Manchester Airport, which it should have done because it's within the legal requirements, and is heading now to New York. So we'll see if it goes through American security. Well, it should do. But it passed the test. So we'll have a little look now. I can review it now. If they'd taken it off me, well, there would be no review. It comes in this little tiny box. I'll just show you the product code. And we'll have a little look at it now. So this is from their small range, and it's the 58mm is a timeless little piece of kit, and they have a variety of options, the most popular being the SD Classic. And the SD Classic has the scissors, the blade, the knife, and the nail file with a little flat-headed screwdriver. So that's the SD Classic. Lots of different options, and it's called the Victorinox Jetsetter Bladeless Pocket Knife. And the clue is in the bladeless part of all that. So what we've got here is a single layer bladeless pocket knife, Swiss manufactured. The recommended retail price on this was £17. I paid £12.12. It's got tools to the front, to the back, and within the cellar door scales. As mentioned, it's the 58mm small range of knives, so it's 58mm long. It's 9mm high, and at its widest point, 20mm wide. It weighs 22 grams. These are so light, these 58mm pocket knives, and it has 7 functions. We'll start with the scales. So I know I've mentioned about red cellar door scales before, but they are a thing of beauty. And, you know, typically with the Victorinox logo, which is, even on these smaller knives, is actually inlaid into the cellar door scales. And I'd go so far as to say, when anybody sees the red cellar door scales with the Victorinox cross, they know it's a Swiss Army knife. So, just very quickly, almost all of these 58mm have the same scale tools, although there are 1 or 2 different options that have additional. But the scale tools in these are tweezers, and these tweezers are very, very good. And the toothpick, which I don't use a lot. I have used occasionally, but this is fairly classic for a Victorinox Swiss Army knife with those 2 scale tools. The other function, as with most Victorinox Swiss Army knives, is the keyring. So if we start with the rear of the knife, what we have here is a pair of the 58mm small scissors. Very sharp. Actually, the scissors on Swiss Army knives, even the little ones here, are renowned for their capability. So the overall length of the scissors is 40mm. The blade length, which is very important for travelling through airports and on aeroplanes, is that the blade length is from the pivot to the tip, so from here to here, and that's 15mm. Yes, a very, very useful little bit of kit, that. So it has the scissors, and then in the front layer, normally in the front layer, even on a single layer knife, you'd have a small pen blade and you'd have a nail file with a flat-headed small screwdriver on the end. With this one, you have a multi-tool. Now this multi-tool is found on some of their other 58mm pocket knives. So this multi-tool has a bottle opener, which works. It has a little wire stripper, which works, but how practical that is when you're travelling is debatable, but it has the wire stripper. It has a small 2.5mm Phillips screwdriver. What makes this multi-tool very useful is that it is quite thick at 3mm. And that makes this, for a very small tool, quite strong. So that's a very usable little multi-tool, and I like this very much. So that's all you get. You get the multi-tool, you get the scissors, you get the keyring, and you get the tweezers and toothpick. There's a lifetime warranty against manufacturer's defects on Victorinox products. And as I've said, that is internationally recognised. It is so recognised that when I got to security at Manchester Airport, I actually identified I had this Victorinox product on me and showed them what it contained, because I know the regulations allow for this to travel through airports, and I know that it's allowed on most airlines. Certainly Virgin Atlantic, who I'm flying with, on their website, and I think this is pretty standard within the industry, allow that product to travel with you through airports on an aeroplane. So why did I buy this Jetsetter? Well, simply, I'm travelling through the airport, I'm going off to New York, as I've mentioned, and any other pocket knife that I've got, I couldn't carry it as carry-on luggage. You could put it into your whole luggage, but I'm not taking whole luggage, I'm just going with the carry-on bag for this particular trip. So it seemed to me that would be a useful bit of kit to have, because we know how useful the scissors are. The multi-tool is handy, but probably the scissors are the most handy for this trip, and that's the reason why I've bought it. So what are the current rules with regards to, I can only speak for Manchester International Airport, but the rules are guided by the Civil Aviation Authority in the UK. And the CAA have rules for the carrying of various goods, including scissors. Because effectively, the bladed part of the scissors are what could be of concern for airline travel, as you'd appreciate. So this is only relevant to this moment in time, because rules can change at any time. So I'll put a link into the CAA, to Manchester Airport and to Virgin as to where you can see the information that supports what I'm telling you. But don't take this as advice. This is only particular at this moment in time and to my journey. So the UK CAA allows scissors with a blade length. Do you remember I showed you the blade length on this, which was 15mm? the CAA allow a blade length of 30mm. So as I've mentioned, the blade length on this Jetsetter from pivot to tip is 15mm. The UK Civil Aviation Authority allow a blade length of 30mm. They also allow, and this is UK Civil Aviation Authority, which would be the advice for all UK airports, rounded blunt scissors. So where you've got rounded tips that are blunt, the Civil Aviation Authority allows that to be brought into an airport and it'll go through security. Since I'm travelling with Virgin Atlantic, I can only talk about Virgin Atlantic, but their rules are very similar to the UK Civil Aviation Authority, but they explain that you can only have scissors with a blade length, pivot to tip, of less than 3 centimetres. So same thing really, but they describe it as less than 3 centimetres, for which this Jetsetter is. And for the blunted end type of scissors, it's just the same as the UK Civil Aviation Authority. I'm going to be flying into the US and therefore have to meet the requirements for the US equivalent of the UK Civil Aviation Authority. And for them, within the airport and getting through security, their restrictions are on metal scissors with a pointed end, like these, can be no larger than 4-inch, which is just over 10 centimetres, about 10.16 centimetres. So obviously slightly more relaxed in the blade length for the US airports. And for them, you're allowed blunt or plastic scissors. It seems without restriction. However, like I've said to you, don't take this as advice on legal matters. You need to find out yourself. We've got through security, shouldn't have any problem with the aeroplane, and then all we've got to do is get through US security. Probably more going in than coming out, or who knows. Anyway, I don't think I'll have any problem, but if I do, obviously it'll appear on this video. So my wife says, watch this space. She had to have something to say, didn't she? She just had to. Hang on, you might as well say hello to all my subscribers.
Hello. How long is this video going to go on for?
Oh, it's a very short video. It's just, I'll edit it all down. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I look forward to another SAK Saturday. Here we are in New York, Manhattan Island, with the Victorinox Jetsetter. We managed to get it here. Got it through all the security coming through the UK into America, and because we're in New York, we're visiting many of the big sites. We've managed to get the Jetsetter into all the big sites without any issues, without any problems. The only time we've had to leave it in a locker to visit the attraction is where I'm stood now, which is at the most iconic of places, the Statue of Liberty.